is going on, everybody? It is GeoFux, and we are discussing more ish. So, this is brought to you by NPR. Information will be in the description box below and or the comment section. The U.S. United States Air Force is denying early retirement benefits to transgender service members, or at least to some transgender service members. Now, just to kind of give you a timeline of what's been going on, because there's been a lot of crazy mess this entire year with under Trump's second term and with his administration and the constant attacks that are made towards transgender people, intersex people, LGBTQIA plus people, queer folks, women, people of color, black folks, immigrants, etc. Various people, poor people, working class people, disabled people, various demographics are being targeted by this administration. Like, this man is out for a vendetta against everybody. So, and just hatred across the board. So I wanted to give like a timeline because there's so much going on. Okay. Like, when people are looking at what's going on here, this isn't what's happening is nothing new, unfortunately, under the sun. Okay. So you gotta remember, back in 2017, during the first term of President Trump, right? He got elected November 2016, sworn into office for the first term, January of 2017. He came in the gates with a Muslim ban, banning people coming into the country from Muslim countries, Islamic countries. Then, a few months down the road, came out with an executive order banning transgender people from serving in the military. So, this isn't like people, when people are sitting back and they're just like, oh my God, I really can't believe all of this is happening. What do you mean? What do you mean? And then I'm just kind of like, he did this his first term. He's had him and his administration, the Republican Party, the Make America Great Again folks. They have had these thoughts and beliefs since day one. Okay. When you look at Project 25, that's exactly what they are rolling out. That's what his administration is doing. They are fulfilling what they said they were going to do in Project 25. And this is why I'm like, acting like what's happening is a surprise when it's not. I'm just being real. Like, you're not finna gaslight me on that. Like, so just in 2025 alone, there have been 969 anti-transgender bills that are under consideration across the country that would negatively impact transgender and gender non-conforming people. And the number is anticipated to grow. Now, just remember, 4 years ago in 2021, there were 143 bills. And out of that 143 bills, 18 passed. We get to 2022, 3 years ago, 174 bills. Out of that 174 anti-trans bills, 26 passed. We get to 2023 and it just exacerbates. We go from that 174 considered to, in 2023, 615 bills. Remember, this is that 2022, 2023 anti-drag, calling drag performers groomers. Meanwhile, the same Republican Party, the same Make America Great Again folks are defending and protecting child predators and pedophilia. They're supporting pedophiles. They're trying to keep the Epstein files from coming out. Meanwhile, prior to that, was all President Trump was talking about, is how these files need to be released. When you got it right, when Biden and Harris was in office, it was him constantly saying the Democrats are obstructing justice. They're not allowing the files to be released. Okay, now you're the president, and all of a sudden you don't want the files to be released. Okay, so let's get back to the gist of this video. August 8th, the U.S. Air Force said Thursday, August 7th, it would deny all transgender service members who have served between 15 and 18 years the option to retire early and would instead separate them without retirement benefits. One Air Force sergeant said he was, quote, betrayed and devastated by the move. The move means that transgender service members will now be faced with the choice of either taking a lump sum separation payment offered to junior troops or be removed completely from the service. Here it is, people have served in the military. People have sacrificed their lives for a country that doesn't give a damn about them. This is why, when I look back, literally, when I was in high school, ROTC, literally, I wanted to go to the Air Force. I've talked about this in other videos. This was a goal of mine when I was younger. As I got older, went to college, expanded my knowledge, I started seeing shit for what it is. And this is what I'm talking about. 1 minute it's about we need all hands on deck and we need to be patriotic and you need to be proud of your country. But then on the same breath, you're taking away rights from people that live in this country. You don't want people to even serve in the military based off of their gender. But yet, you are having such an issue with recruiting people to join the military, while at the same time denying the option to an entire demographic of people based off of their transgender identity, based off of their gender non-conforming identity. That is insane. And that is blatant discrimination. You are targeting and discriminating against transgender people and anybody that falls under the transgender umbrella, because it is an umbrella term. That's crazy. You don't serve, you don't sacrifice, people don't die, people don't got injured, people don't went through hell and back, and then you're telling them that they can't have a retirement from the Air Force because they're trans. Then, well, you're banned from serving, we're kicking you out, take this lump sum and F you, is the message that's being sent to transgender service folks, servicemen, servicewomen, transgender service people. Okay, an Air Force spokesman told the Associated Press that, quote, although service members with 15 to 18 years of honorable service were permitted to apply for an exception to policy, none of the exceptions to policy were approved. About a dozen service members, none of them were approved. This is what the Trump administration has been doing. They will literally say one thing in the public and then do the complete opposite behind closed doors. Manipulation, gaslighting, misleading. None of the exceptions to policies were approved. About a dozen service members have been prematurely notified that they would be able to retire before the decision was reversed, according to the spokesperson who spoke on condition of anonymity to discuss internal Air Force policy. A memo issued Monday announcing the new policy, which was reviewed by the AP, said that the choice to deny retirement benefits was made after careful consideration of the individual applications. So what was the point of them being told prematurely that they could apply for early retirement, knowing that after careful consideration, screw you, we're not doing it, you are out? Okay, separation process has hit some bumps. The move comes after Pentagon was given permission in early May by the Supreme Court, which was stacked by who? President Donald Trump, back during his first term, 2016 to 2020, to move forward with a ban on all transgender troops serving in the military. Days later, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announced a policy that would offer currently openly serving transgender troops the option to either volunteer to leave and take a large one-time separation payout or be involuntarily separated at a later date. A Pentagon official told reporters in May that they viewed the policy as treating, quote, anyone impacted by it with dignity and respect. How are you treating transgender people with dignity and respect by denying us of the same opportunities, the same freedoms, the same benefits, the same resources and support that you give cisgender people? Why are we the only ones being targeted and moved out of opportunities to serve in the military? Why are we the only ones being targeted? Can't play sports, can't go to the bathroom, can't get health care, can't serve in the military, can't do shit, but yet you expect us to pay property taxes, pay federal taxes, pay state taxes, show up, be patriotic, to not have any freedoms, not have any rights, not have any proper representation from either political party. Yep, I'm going there, because let's be real, what are the Democrats really doing for the transgender community? I mean, so many leading Democrats are so comfortable with throwing transgender people under the bus, just like how they threw Palestinian people under the bus, just like how they throw women under the bus, just like how they throw the working class, the working poor, low to moderate income people under the bus. Yeah, I'm going there. Y'all so busy trying to appease Republicans who will never vote for your asses anyways. Instead of the folks that are sitting up rallying and supporting you. Okay. I'm going there. Anyways. Shit's crazy. However, in late July, transgender troops told military.com that they were finding the entire separation process, which has included reverting their service records back to their birth gender, dehumanizing or open cruelty. And that's the whole thing. It's like, it's just, you're misgendering, you're dead naming, you don't see us as human beings, you don't see us as people. You know, it's always just no lack of respect, lack of empathy, lack of care for transgender people, for anybody that, and really, it goes even further, obviously, than transgender people. It's lack of care for anybody that is different from them. So if you're not a cisgendered heterosexual white male, they don't care. And let's get even more specific. You better have money. You better be Christian. You better be able-bodied. Because if not, they don't care about you. And a lot of people are finding that out. Shannon Leary, a lawyer who represents LGBTQ plus people in employment discrimination cases, says she expects lawsuits to challenge Thursday's decision. Quote, "It seems quite arbitrary on its face and cruel." She said, quote, "These military members have dedicated their lives to serving our country. Normally," Larry said, "when early retirement is offered in the military, it's available to all members who have served over 15 years. She said she expects other service branches, unfortunately, to follow the U.S. Air Force path, which means transgender people that are serving in the Navy, the Marines, the Army, if they were in the Space Force, can also likely be kicked out and only offered a lump sum once and not be able to retire early. Because typically speaking, a person is eligible for retiree in the military after serving 20 years. So hypothetically speaking, had I been able to join the U.S. Air Force when I graduated in 2010, by the time 2030 came, or right now, what am I talking about? Yeah, by the time 2030 came, I would have been able to retire at 37 because that would have been 20 years. And then in this case, you can get early retirement at 15. So theoretically speaking, had I stayed in, was able to get in and apply like I wanted to originally, but in many ways, thank goodness my grandparents would not sign off. So in many ways, that was a hidden blessing looking back. Hindsight's 2020. But I would have been at the 15-year mark now. And you mean to tell me after serving a decade and a half, 15 years, damn near 20 years, screw you, you're banned, you don't have health insurance, you don't have any of the VA benefits, none of that you are entitled to for being in the military and serving. Screw you just because you're trans. How is that not transphobia? That's what we mean by transphobia. You are literally targeting and discriminating and harassing an entire group of people based off of the fact that they're trans. One Air Force member says he's devastated. Again, wow, their last name. Logan Ireland, a master sergeant in the U.S. Air Force who has 15 years of service, including a deployment to Afghanistan, is one of the airmen impacted by the policy. Quote, I feel betrayed and devastated by the news, he said. Ireland said he was told that his retirement was being denied on Wednesday when his chain of command, quote, with tears in their eyes, told him the news. Which brings me to this. If you are a cisgender person and you see that this is happening to trans people, why are you not speaking up? Speak up against it. Fight back. Stand with your transgender fellow service folks. Stand with fellow transgender people. Actually be an ally. Instead of running your mouth on social media, actually do something. It's really wild, right? Because when they come for you, you're going to want other people to stand with you. It's something to think about. This is why I keep saying, to my fellow transgender, intersex, queer people, non-gender confirming people, non-binary people, gender fluid people. If you fall under the transgender umbrella, if you fall under the queer umbrella, if you fall under the LGBTQIA+, it is so important that you start recognizing who has your back and who doesn't. Okay? I'm just going to be honest. Because in the times we're living in, we do not have time for people who claim to love and care and support us, who are throwing us under the bus behind our back, who refuse to speak up against transphobia, homophobia, biphobia, queerphobia. We don't have time for it. We're dying. We're being targeted. We're losing rights. We're losing freedoms. We're losing access to the same resources and support that cisgender people are able to get freely. Why can't we have the same rights and freedoms? I mean, literally, they are doing Trump's administration is doing everything he said he was going to do. Everything that they outlined in Project 2025. Okay? Officials said that as of December 9th, 2024, there were about 4,240 troops diagnosed with gender dysphoria on active duty and in National Guard and Reserve. Pentagon officials have decided to use the condition in its diagnosis as a main way to identify troops who are trans. Again, this is another reason why, and I'm going to be real, this is another reason why, how is HIPAA a thing when you're giving people access to people's medical records without, and you're using it to target folks? This is another reason why a lot of people don't go to the doctors, because they don't want to get a diagnosis that's going to end up in their medical chart that can later be used against them, which is what we're seeing. And it ain't just targeting trans folks. That's what I want y'all to understand. Because if you are an African American, black person of color, and you happen to get, you shave your face, you cut your beard, you shave your facial hair, what have you, and you get skin bumps, razor bumps, guess what? They're trying to ban your ass from the serving in the military too. They're coming for various demographics of people. If you're autistic, if you have ADHD, if you have various different mental health conditions, physical health conditions, they are targeting you. Pay attention. Like I said, a lot of people thought, oh, well, that ain't got nothing to do with me, so I'm not going to worry about that. I'm good. And then next thing you know, it does have everything to do with you. And or people that you love and care about are being screwed over because you want to act like politics don't matter. You want to act like everything's a joke and downplay things that aren't. You downplaying shit while losing the same rights and freedoms that you thought wasn't going to impact you. And it is. Wake up, folks. However, the two are not an exact match. Not every transgender person has the condition, which is true. As a result, there is an understanding that the total that the actual number of trans people within the military is probably roughly 2 million troops, and it may be even higher. I said this for years. We, as of right now, transgender people make up about 2% of the population, which really, it was 1.6%, but we say 2% as a roundup. But that's based off of self-identifying people. People who are telling you, self-identifying as trans. You have a lot of folks that are trans that you don't even know. You have a lot of cis people who are cisgender, yet once we start doing all of these genital testing and gender testing and looking at your actual genealogy and looking at your genes, you're going to find out the hard way that you're not even cis. A lot of y'all have no idea what you're in for, and a lot of us have been trying to educate, trying to spread awareness, trying to share information, and we're going to continue to do it. Those of us that have the capabilities and you know, within reason to your boundaries, we're going to continue to share as much as we can. And we hope y'all take aware of what's going on and really start looking around, because shit is real. Under the latest policy, active duty troops have until June 6th, which that's, you know, already have, to voluntarily identify themselves and receive a payout, while troops in the National Guard and Reserve had until July 7th. Pentagon officials previously told reporters that they plan to lean on commanders and existing annual medical screenings to find any transgender service member who does not come forward. That is insane. So again, we're being hunted and targeted out, y'all. And people kept telling us it's not that serious. Oh, you're being dramatic. Oh, you're being pessimistic. Oh. It's easy to say that when you're not the group being targeted. And this is what I mean by when you're privileged, you don't have to consider a lot of things that other people have to consider. And you can be both marginalized and privileged. You could have multiple privileges and also have multiple marginalized identities. I've been saying this. It's like, so again, a lot of cisgender people don't care about these things because I'm not trans, so what does that have to do with me? Oh, you're blowing it out of proportion. Yeah, because nobody's making laws telling you that as a cisgender person, you can't serve in the military. You can't play sports. You can't go to the bathroom. You can't have access to healthcare just because you're cisgender. Nobody's telling you that. So of course you don't care. Y'all better start caring about other people. You better start caring. Because you want people to care about you, but then you turn around and you don't want to care about others. Ain't that something? Y'all better wake up. Information is in the description box below. And I'm gonna keep doing as much as I can to share awareness, to spread awareness, to speak up, to be open, to be loud and present. Because I recognize my privileges. I have privileges. As an intersex transgender man, I have privileges. As a college educated person, I have privileges. As a person that grew up in a middle class upbringing, I have privileges. As an American citizen, I have privileges. As a person that has access to the internet, has had access to college education, information, I have privileges, and I recognize that. So I use my privileges to speak up about injustices, to speak out against discrimination, to help others who don't have the same privileges as me. Because the whole point is that one day the privileges that I have become basic human rights for everyone, not just me, not just you, not just the few in between, but for all of us. Excuse me for giving a damn about others outside of me. Wow.